I think every offer that was presented was a pooling transaction type offer. So they were public entities. But as you know, there's all sorts of different forms of public entities.
Yeah.
The one in particular was a public entity, but it was a very sort of segregated sort of sub-entity of that public entity. So they presented it as if they're public entity, which is a name that probably you would recognize if I was to share it. But they weren't really standing behind the deal.
Got it.
So they were new. Our industry was a new industry. They were a new player to our industry. And the biggest thing that I recall from that time frame was that I didn't think that Wall Street and the investment banking world really understood our industry.
Okay.
And that was part of what the thought process was, is that if these guys are willing to pay this much more money than I, as someone who's been in this business for 10, 15 years, think it's worth, that's how we'd come to X rather, originally. We have to take advantage of this confusion in the marketplace. In fact, I remember going to we had a trade association meeting. I was on the board of our trade association in Hawaii. And we went in and they were ready for the annual meeting for the vote. And I remember commenting to our executive director, I said, "You got the signs all right." He goes, "What?" I said, "You have members and guests." He goes, "Well, what should they be?" I said, "They should be sharks and bait," because there was so much interest in buying companies in our space at that point in time. That's before TriNet went public, before Insperity went public, before all these, before Paychex got in the space, before ADP got in the space. So they were trying to figure it out. Now they maybe knew a lot more than I did because this recurring revenue model was so appealing to them. And I think that they were envisioning that you get to scale with that recurring revenue model, which is where we're at now with my current enterprise. And each new client that comes on board, 85, 90% of the revenue drops to the bottom line.